What if I told you Real Madrid's average net spend on transfers since 2009 was only 37.5 million euros per season? That's right. The team that once splashed cash on superstars is now outsmarting the transfer market. From signing future stars to grabbing free agents, this is a new era for Los Blancos. And this is how they're doing it. This is not the Real Madrid you think you know. It's smarter, more strategic, and possibly more dangerous than ever before. Gone are the days of breaking transfer records for big-name players. Instead, Real Madrid has quietly changed how they do business in the transfer market. This new approach isn't just about saving money, it's about building a team that can win now and in the future. Real Madrid's strategy should make other teams worry. While other teams worry about Real Madrid's new approach, it's worth asking, what made them abandon their old strategy? The answer lies in a dazzling but flawed chapter of the club's history that ultimately proved unsustainable. In the early 2000s, Real Madrid embarked on a bold strategy that would change football forever. They called it the Galacticos era, a time when the club focused on signing the biggest names in the sport, no matter the cost. This wasn't just about building a team, it was about creating a global brand that would dominate both on and off the pitch. The Galacticos policy kicked off with a bang. Real Madrid started bringing in football's biggest stars, one after another. Luis Figo, Zinedine Zidane, Ronaldo Nazario, and David Beckham all joined the club in quick succession. These weren't just good players, they were global icons who could sell shirts and fill stadiums around the world. At first, it seemed like a brilliant plan. The excitement around Real Madrid was electric. Fans couldn't believe their eyes as they watched some of the best players in the world take the field together. The media attention was massive, and Real Madrid's brands grew stronger with each new signing. But as time went on, cracks started to appear. The team that looked unbeatable on paper often struggled on the pitch. Despite having so many individual stars, Real Madrid found it hard to play as a cohesive unit. It turns out that putting the best players together doesn't automatically make the best team. The problems went beyond just team chemistry. The Galacticos approach was incredibly expensive, and it put a lot of pressure on the club's finances. Real Madrid was spending huge sums on transfer fees and wages, which left little room for investing in other areas of the club. Another issue was the lack of balance in the team. While Real Madrid had no shortage of attacking talent, they often neglected their defense and midfield. This led to inconsistent performances and frustrating results, especially in important matches. The Galacticos era reached its peak in 2009 when Florentino Perez returned as president. That summer, Real Madrid spent a whopping 258 million euros on new signings. They brought in Cristiano Ronaldo, Kaká, Karim Benzema, and Xavi Alonso. It was a spending spree that shocked the world of football and seemed to double down on the Galacticos philosophy. But even this massive investment couldn't fix the underlying problems. Real Madrid continued to struggle with consistency and team cohesion. The club realised that simply buying the best players wasn't enough to guarantee success in modern football. This realisation marked a turning point for Real Madrid. They knew they needed to change their strategy if they wanted to stay at the top of world football. Real Madrid's need for change came at a crucial moment. Imagine a world where the kings of football couldn't afford to build their dream team anymore. This scenario became Real Madrid's new normal, forcing them to rethink everything. The football world was changing fast. New teams with deep pockets were shaking things up. Clubs like Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain suddenly had more money to spend than anyone else. This shift made it harder for Real Madrid to keep doing things the old way. Real Madrid used to be the team that could buy any player they wanted, but now they were finding it tough to compete for the biggest names. The club's usual spending power wasn't enough anymore. They couldn't just throw money at problems like before. One clear example of this new reality came when Real Madrid tried to sign Harry Kane. In the past, they might have easily landed a star like Kane, but now they couldn't make it happen. This showed how much things had changed for the club. Real Madrid knew they had to find a new way to stay on top. They couldn't rely on their old methods anymore. The club had to get used to not being the biggest spender in the transfer market. This was a big change for a team that was used to getting what they wanted. The shift wasn't just about money. It was about staying competitive in a changing world. Real Madrid needed to find ways to build a great team without spending as much as before. They had to be smarter about how they found and signed players. Real Madrid's problems weren't unique. Many big clubs were facing similar issues, but for a team with such a proud history, it was especially hard. They had to prove they could still be the best, even without the biggest budget. This turning point was both scary and exciting for Real Madrid. It was scary because they were losing their old advantages, but it was also exciting because it forced them to innovate. Real Madrid's response to adversity was nothing short of genius. They didn't just adapt, they rewrote the rules of recruitment. What if the key to dominating football isn't buying superstars, but creating them? Enter Juni Calafat, Real Madrid's chief scout since 2013. He's the mastermind behind the club's new approach to finding talent. Calafat doesn't just look for good players, he searches for future stars before anyone else notices them. This shift in strategy was a big change for Real Madrid. Instead of chasing famous players, they started looking for young talents who could become the next big thing. It was a smart move that saved money and set them up for long-term success. Let's look at some of the players Real Madrid signed with this new approach. In 2016, they got Federico Valverde for just €5 million. 2 years later, they signed Vinicius Jr. for €45 million. Then, in 2019, Rodrigo joined them for €40 million. These players weren't household names when Madrid signed them, but now they're some of the best in the world. But Real Madrid's clever moves didn't stop there. They also found ways to get great players without spending too much. For example, they signed goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois for €35 million when his contract was almost up at Chelsea. They even got David Alba for free when he left Bayern Munich. And just this summer, they managed to sign arguably the best player in the world, Kylian Mbappe, on a free transfer as well. Calafat's scouting network is a big part of why this strategy works so well. His team doesn't just watch players on the field, they get to know them and their families. This helps Real Madrid understand not just how good a player is, but also what kind of person they are. This new way of doing things has helped Real Madrid stay on top without breaking the bank. They're built on a world-class team while spending less than other big clubs. It's a strategy that set them up to win now and in the future. Real Madrid's success isn't just about finding good players, it's about having a long-term plan. Even when managers change, the club sticks to its vision. This means they're always thinking ahead, not just about the next game or season. The results speak for themselves. Real Madrid has put together a team that can compete with anyone in the world, but they've done it in a way that's smart and sustainable. This new approach has changed how other teams think about building their squads. Real Madrid has shown that with smart scouting and patience, you can create a team of superstars instead of just buying them. It's a lesson that could shape the future of football. Real Madrid's current lineup is turning heads and breaking records. But this team isn't the old Galacticos. It's a new breed of talent that's both cheaper and potentially more powerful. How did Madrid pull off this transformation? And what does it mean for their future in European football? Let's look at the stars of this new Real Madrid team. You've got Kylian Mbappe, one of the best players in the world. Then there's Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo, two young Brazilian forwards who are getting better every day. In midfield, you have Jude Bellingham, a young English star, and Federico Valverde, who's been with Madrid since he was a teenager. These players aren't just good, they're some of the best in their positions. This new Madrid team isn't just about young players though. They also have some older, more experienced players who help guide the younger ones. This mix of youth and experience is what makes the team so special. Players like Luka Modric and Antonio Rudiger bring another level of quality and experience. Carlo Ancelotti, the manager, has done a great job putting these players together. He's found a way to use their skills in the best way possible. For example, he's given Bellingham more freedom to attack, which has made him even better than before. Since 2010, Real Madrid has won 29 titles. That includes 6 Champions League trophies, which is the biggest competition in European club football. This shows that Madrid's new way of doing things is working really well, and they are favourites to win the competition again this year. This new Madrid team is built to last. They're not just trying to win now, they're planning for the future too. By focusing on young players and helping them grow, Madrid has created a team that could be at the top of world football for years to come. But it's not just about the players on the field. Madrid's whole approach to running the club has changed. They're thinking long-term, making smart decisions about who to sign and how to develop players. This new strategy has put them in a great position to keep winning, even as other teams spend more money. Real Madrid's new strategy has brought them success, but it's not bulletproof. What happens when other teams copy their approach? The club's response to this challenge could determine whether they stay on top or fall behind. While Real Madrid's focus on young talent has paid off, they still face hurdles in the ever-changing world of football. One clear weakness in their strategy is their struggle to sign established stars. The failed attempt to bring in Harry Kane shows that even Real Madrid can't always get who they want. This gap in their recruitment plan might hurt them when they need experienced players to lead the team. But Real Madrid isn't sitting still. They're always looking for ways to improve and adapt. The club's financial health is strong, which gives them the room to try new things. They even managed to avoid losing money during the COVID-19 pandemic, a time when many other clubs struggled. Real Madrid's biggest advantage might be their ability to think ahead. They're not just focused on winning now, they're planning for the future. The ongoing renovation of the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium is a perfect example of this long-term thinking. Once it's done, the new stadium is expected to bring in a lot more money. Some experts think it could generate $1 billion in the 2024-25 season alone. This extra cash could help Real Madrid stay competitive, even as other teams try to catch up. However, Real Madrid can't rely just on one strategy. The football world changes fast, and what works today might not work tomorrow. The club needs to keep refining how they find and sign players. They also need to make sure they're not putting all their eggs in one basket by relying too much on their current scouting director. Real Madrid's success shows that being smart about money can be just as important as having a lot of it. But as other teams learn from their example, Real Madrid will need to keep innovating. They'll have to find new ways to stay ahead of the competition, both on and off the field. The good news for Real Madrid fans is that the club has shown it can change with the times. They've gone from big spenders to smart investors, and they're still winning trophies. This ability to adapt will be crucial as they face new challenges in the future. Real Madrid's success shows that being smart with money can be just as important as having a lot of it. Real Madrid has redefined what it means to be the best. It's no longer about who can spend the most, but who can spend the smartest. Will other clubs follow Real Madrid's lead, or will they find their own ways to compete? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear, Real Madrid has set a new standard for success in football. Do you think Real Madrid will dominate football for years to come? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe for more great videos.